We've been looking back on the week that's just happened. Now we're going to look forward to the week coming up. Michelle, let's talk about the numbers we think we'll get. We get some ISM numbers, we got some jobs numbers.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty busy week in terms of economic data. Again, to the extent that that will matter. If coronavirus stays in the headlines, the data will be secondary. That said, these indicators are important. So the labor market data, we've had a string of very strong data in the last few months. Job creation in excess of 200,000, broad-based job creation, unemployment rate that's remained very low, around 3.5%. So we'll see if that persists. I suspect it will. I think, maybe some moderation in job growth, but still a pretty healthy report should come out at the end of the week. Even more interesting, perhaps, will be the ISM surveys. Because right now we're just paying the most attention to early indicators, survey data, anything that gives you that sense of behavioral changes. And the ISM manufacturing survey, I do think, is vulnerable. So last month it picked up to expansion territory above the 50 break-even. The regional manufacturing surveys we've received thus far have been favorable. But given what's happening globally, I think the risk is it could soften here.
But given what's going on with coronavirus, as far as we know right now, is it too early to show up in supply chain issues with the ISMs?
So I think it's starting to show up if you hear what corporates are talking about, right? It's certainly top of mind. I don't know that they're struggling necessarily right now with the ability to produce or with the inventory, given the lags in production, but they're looking ahead. And this is a sentiment survey, right? So they see the headlines, they worry about the fact that factories are shut down, and it could show up. If it doesn't, if the ISM manufacturing survey actually improves, that could be quite a lot of relief for markets who have otherwise been really panicked throughout this week.
One thing that I think can happen for the United States that's actually for the good with respect to the coronavirus is that what we've realized is that many of our supply chains are too focused on China. And I could easily see that a lot of those suppliers come back to the United States. Think about it. The N95 face masks are all made in China. Over 90% of ibuprofen is made in China, along with lots of our other drugs. I think we will see over the coming weeks political leaders talking about those issues and talking about getting more self-sufficiency here in these United States for items that are essential to our existence.
It's a great point. Finally, though, we have Super Tuesday on Tuesday, right? 14 races we're going to have, primaries on the Democratic side. We're going to learn much from that, Jim?
We're going to have, I think, a lot of people claiming victory. There are 14 different races. Different people are going to win different races. We're going to see all the spin meisters out there talking about how fabulously well their particular candidate did. Maybe one or two will drop out as a result, but I think this Democratic race is still going to go hot and heavy for at least a few more weeks.
Yeah, the one thing we know for sure is the process by which you choose the delegates is really complicated.